Hi,
Uh,
how you doing?
Good.
Good. What you drinking?
Some homebrew tea and water.
I wouldn't assume by just, knowing a 46-year-old man that he just mainly drinks tea and water.
Yeah. Now,
So let's talk about that because I think that's a huge part of the transformation, right? The growth,
absolutely. The big S word,
the big S word, sobriety.
sobriety.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Lord.
Now, I like to claim, 50% sobriety. I call myself California sober.
California love. Nah, ain't
But
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah. But you are 100% sober
Yeah, yeah.
of everything.
Thank you, Lord. Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. 2 years, 2 months shy of 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
No chronic, no drink, no dank, no bruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the moment, or maybe what was the turning point that made you decide to be sober?
Sheesh. There was a bunch of signs.
Okay.
The signs were there that I probably should have done it a long time ago, but got tired. I got tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And that was part of the problem for me. That was part of the problem for me. Like smoking, drinking, that was part of the problem, and wasn't helping.
When you say part of the problem, are there specific things that you could point to that you maybe thought alcohol was numbing, but it was like really increasing the issue?
Well, that's a good question because where I come from and in our community and the Black community and just people in general, especially being from a big family, if, my family, we all live fairly close together and we close knit. So if I talk to you today and you off for work today and I happen to be off for work today, let's get a drink. If, we've had a bad day, I've had a bad day, you've had a bad day, let's get a drink. If I ain't seen you in a long time, let's get a drink. It's Friday, let's get a drink. Man, something happened. There's a trauma in the family. Let's get a drink. You know, it's a family reunion. Let's get a drink. So therefore, a lot of the gatherings and just socializing was revolved around just having drinks, catching the buzz, you know what I'm saying? Smoke one with the guys, with my ones. So it was shadowed like, that's what you do when you get around your people. Eat, drink, and be merry. You know what I'm saying?
That kind of leads into the next thing I was going to ask about was what was a lie you were telling yourself that kept you drinking that was like making it okay and using?
I'm having fun, or it's cool. We having a good time. I'm chilling with the bros. I went to work today. I'm a grown ass man. I work all day. I work every day. I work every week. Um, just the lies that we tell ourselves to justify, the bullshit we be on. I'm grown.
Yeah. Did you consider yourself an addict with alcohol?
Not at first until I realized and, went to therapy and understood what an addict is and what an addict does,
Mm,
because the misconception is, oh, I ain't no fiend, I ain't no addict, this, that, and the third, but
mhm.
you don't have to drink every day or smoke every day to be an addict. You can just binge on the weekends and still be an addict. Addict is a thought process. The behavior is what makes you an addict. The fact that you will jeopardize yourself and others is what makes you an addict. The fact that these things are no longer done in a celebratory way, you use them to cope and to deal and to manage your own life is what makes you an addict. So, at the time, nah, I wasn't no addict. I was a nigga doing what the fuck I wanted to do because I was grown and you can't tell me what to do.
So you actually even answered my next question. But I think probably what is most impressive to me, like you quit cold turkey. You
Yeah.
just stopped
Yeah.
everything without really, going to AA all the time or anything like that. You just stopped. So that's impressive. What were the things that kept you moving forward through that process? After you took that first step, what were some of the other ingredients that you had to start mixing in that kept you in that sober space?
Well, there's a backstory that needs to be, shown and told, before we can, get to, how I came to 2 years sober almost, because like I say, the thought process was, get with my guys or just, by myself on a regular daily basis, have a drink or smoke you something just to ease your mind. But I found myself with 2 DUIs in less than 5 years. I was on probation. I spent a whole lot of money, lawyers and court fees and just insurance for my car, my driver's license and all those things. It was a situation to where I was just tired and I had to step back, and it's called an introspection. An introspection is a internal self-examination of oneself spiritually, emotionally, and I had to examine myself, lay myself on that examination table, say, what is causing you from leveling up or moving forward in your own life? And that was the one thing that was the common denominator in a lot of the problems that I was finding myself in, and a lot of the situations that I was finding myself in my life. Alcohol was the catalyst. And I challenged myself. Couple years back, we're doing these 30-day challenges.
Yeah.
And I heard about it, and I says, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna challenge myself to 30 days of sobriety, no weed, no alcohol. I'm just going to see how, I feel, see if I could save me some money, see how I can function 30 days, just leaving it alone. So I did it. 30 days came, and I felt good. And I'm like, damn, I was proud of myself for doing it for 30 days. And then Ramadan came, and it was time to, everybody knows, or if you don't know, Ramadan is a month of fasting, and the fast is not always about food. It's about things that you feel hinder you from bringing you closer with the law. You know what I'm saying? So I continue my fast with drugs and alcohol. And that month came and went, and that made it 2 months. Now I went not only 30 days, but I went 60 days. So I told myself, if you can go 60 days, you can go 90 days. Things start unfolding in my career. My life starts getting, I start feeling good physically. I start feeling good on the inside. I start feeling good mentally. My peers and people in my circle are realizing that I'm not drinking. People are still asking me what you got in that cup. I'm not drinking. So again, at this point now, it's a situation to where, people don't think I'm strong enough to really stop because I was doing this so much. So therefore, I'm going to show them I'm going to go another 30 days, So
Yeah.
now I'm 4 months in. Again, my career is unfolding, you know what I'm saying? Things are happening in my life that my relationships with my children is getting better, my family's getting better, and everybody's recognizing that I'm not drinking, and that's making me feel good on the inside.
Yeah.
So I continued. And, one day at a time, here I am almost 2 years sober, and it feels amazing. It feels amazing. Thank you, Lord. So if I can, you can too, is what I tell the next man or woman.
Okay. It seems like the kind of call to action came internally, but do you recall at any time having that same type of call to action from anyone in your family?
Well, my parents have always been supportive of me in a major way. And me and my father were, distant because of the thoughts and the behaviors and, things that I was having and things that I was doing. And he always told me, he stayed on me, because I see better for you. I see better for you. I want better for you. And I did too, but I didn't want it on his terms. I couldn't do it, for him. I had to do it for myself. And once that unfolded a couple years back, it was the time that I got sober. My father was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm going through a divorce. I just lost, a son, and my daughter was shot. My daughter's mother was murdered, and everything was unfolded in such a way that I was I was dying on the inside. I was dying on the inside, and I had to bring myself out of that. I had to bring myself out of that, and that alcohol and the drugs and all of that wasn't helping none.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a person that's used to being sober to deal with.
Yeah.
And so to just kind of put things in perspective, these things were coming and happening boom, boom, boom in a timeline. And at the same time, you also, at that point, that's when the exhaustion of just everything started to really wear down on you.
During the separation before my divorce, I end up, situation unfolded that I end up leaving my house, and I ended up, moving into a extended stay hotel. I stayed in this extended stay hotel for almost a year. Um, Again, I was, drugging and drinking and doing my thing, and I woke up one morning being shaken by the hotel manager. I was laying on the floor in the hotel lobby, passed out, and she was afraid because she wondered if I was alive, if I was okay.
Right.
And I got up, I woke up, realized I was laying on the floor of the hotel lobby. And I'm like, I'm good. Just please don't call the police. Please don't tell anybody about this situation. She was like, I won't, but you gotta get yourself some help.
Yeah.
You're not okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I started seeing a therapist. That's when I started trying to work my way through the mess that was my life at that point.
I'm glad you brought up therapy because I think in our community, um, a lot of people are quick to jump to, you got to pray. You need to talk to the Lord. You need to get it together. You need to pull yourself up, figure it out. And not that you shouldn't talk to God, obviously you should, but what were some misconceptions you had about therapy before you went that you feel like that was completely not the case?
Well, the misconceptions that I had about therapy, I can only speak of from my perspective as being a Black man,
Absolutely.
and in the Black community, especially, therapy was looked at as taboo, or, I ain't crazy. I ain't going to tell them people, I ain't telling all my business to them people. And, like you said, you need to talk to God. God ain't going to put no more on you than you can bear. And it was the misinformation, the misdirection, the miseducation that kept me and keeps others like me in that trap, in that space. Because again, what ones will say, they will misinform us or miseducate us just because they were misinformed or miseducated. I know everybody in the community will say, and you probably even heard yourself tell somebody this: God ain't gonna put no more on you than you can bear. False. The lesson tells us, cast your cares unto me. Because if you can handle it all, there would be no need for him. But again, people tell us that, or we find ourselves telling people that coming from a good place, but you just miseducate them, misinforming them. If you not feeling good, you're going to take yourself to the doctor.
Yeah,
You're supposed to.
you're supposed to.
You're not just supposed to sit there and say, I'm going to just sit here in this chair in pain
Right.
and let God heal me.
Right.
God can heal you, but he also put people in places to do that for him. A lot of times we sit around and wait on God to do stuff that we could do for ourselves. And that's what it was. I had to step out of my own comfort zone and quiet the noise of what everybody was telling me and say, hey, I'm finna go talk to these people and see what they got to say. And it wasn't the fact that therapy, there was no magic sentence or no magic pill that they give you. I found myself doing most of the talking when I was in therapy. This is therapeutic right now. Because again, I was talking through my own issues, figuring out my own answers. So therefore, I would encourage anybody in a situation that you may feel like you need help, past traumas, things that you don't tell nobody about, things that happened in your childhood, things that, you just want to get off your chest. Go to therapy. I encourage it. I challenge you to go get some help, go get some therapy, and watch how your life unfolds. That's what worked for me.
Right. I love that. I love that. You mentioned that um, a lot of your family time is, celebratory. We'll call it that.
Yeah,
No, actually, I'm gonna keep it real.
yeah,
I'm gonna keep it real.
do that.
There's a lot of drinking.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of drinking. As you are becoming sober in that period, how did you handle that? How did you handle that without avoiding family functions? Or did you avoid family functions?
That's a good question because that's something that I deal with still to this day,
Yeah.
you know, going around and being around and, everybody that knows me and have seen me out in public and things of that nature on the set or wherever I be, I'm a kick it, but I ain't gonna kick it too long,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
in my King George voice, can't stay too long. I gotta keep moving because that's triggering. That's triggering because in my sober, in my sober life now,
Yeah.
I was an infant. I'm an infant in this sobriety. 2 years. I'm not even 2 years old in my sober life. I'm an infant. So therefore I had to relearn how to communicate sober. I
Mhm.
had to relearn how to watch Bears football games sober. I had to relearn how to kick it with the guys sober. I had to relearn how to eat chicken wings sober. I had to relearn how to celebrate my birthday sober, so on and so forth. So therefore I take a lot of mental breaks. To be honest,
Okay.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
and that's fair.
I take a lot of mental breaks. Mental breaks mean I'll sit and be in conversation. Then you might see me just outside to myself,
Yeah.
just recharging my mental battery. And that's what I got to do until it's a situation to where it's just like, okay, maybe it's time for me to go. And I leave, leave, go do something else.
In the beginning, do you feel like there were family members that maybe didn't fully support your sober journey the way you wish that they would have?
I don't I don't think that they weren't supporting it. I think that they didn't believe that I was supporting it.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah. It was unreal,
It was
unfamiliar.
unreal.
Mhm.
Okay, he didn't drink yesterday. He didn't drink last weekend, but I know he gonna drink it. I know he gonna drink this weekend. It's such and such birthday, or we kicking it for such and such, or we all over here today. I know he gonna have a drink today. So I had to stand fast and stand firm on what I was on to get them to respect what I was on. You understand what I'm saying? Now it's a situation to where, like I said, they did not believe it, what's in that cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I still laugh, I still have fun,
Yeah.
I still joke and goof off, with my ones, what I'm saying? I love having fun. And they weren't used to seeing me do that without being intoxicated.
Okay.
So the fact that you still laughing, you gotta be drunk.
Right.
The fact that you still socializing, you gotta be drunk. You at the club, you gotta be drunk,
Yeah.
So I had to show them that I was for real so that they would take me serious.
And at the same time, I want you to like definitely give yourself some credit. Because at the same time, I feel like when you're going through that, you're getting to know yourself in infancy as well,
Absolutely.
like who you are. So
A
in that journey, what is one thing that was a positive surprise? You were like, oh, I didn't even expect this in your sobriety.
a positive surprise that I could enjoy myself sober. Again, I had to learn how to do all that over again. When you go with your people, what y'all going out to do? Have a drink. When you go out with your ones, oh, let's go to brunch, let's go to lunch, let's go to dinner, let's have a drink. Okay, y'all can do that. That's cool. But I'm gonna grab me a tea, grab me a water.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I still go out to the club. I love to shoot pool. But that don't mean I have to drink to enjoy that situation or to enjoy that energy,
Right.
you know? So yeah, I had to realize that I like me. I like the sober me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm much more fun being sober. And I think the people that know me, they would probably say the same thing. Like, he's fun, funner, sober.
Yeah.
Because that's when, when the other stuff kick in, that's when the crash out, wakes up and we find ourselves right back there again. So yeah, the biggest thing that I learned is that I could have fun being sober.
Were you, people like to categorize how they are when they drink. When I used to drink, I was a giggly drunk and then I just wanted to go to sleep. I wasn't, like emotional. I'm not a fighter, so I definitely wasn't trying to fight people. But what was your personality like when you at F, you're full? You've had all the what was your drink of choice? Hennessy?
Hennessy.
You've had all the Hennessy for the day.
Yeah.
You are
And Modelo's.
and Modelo's
And Monaco's.
and Monaco's,
What's wrong when I was drinking light?
wow, this is like the list is growing.
Yes. I didn't smoke blunts. I like to smoke joints.
See, all the things, all the things. And, you know, you're out, you're on F, you're on
Yeah,
full.
yeah,
All of these things have occurred.
yeah,
Your Bears just lost, I don't know, somebody calls you, where are you at?
yeah.
What does that response look like at that point? Who is that
Um,
duck at that point?
Well, I'll say everything is cool till it wasn't.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Everything was cool till it wasn't
Yeah.
because it all starts off in good fun until again it's not.
So it's not, yeah.
And the night the person that you end up the Dr. Jekyll that you're gonna get is dependent upon what started me to drinking that day
Okay. Okay.
because I suffered in silence. So
Okay.
therefore, I kept a poker face. So you don't know if I'm having a bad day or not. You don't know if I just had a crash out, blow up session a few minutes ago because my poker face, I'm even kill until them spirits get to flowing on the inside. And this person may have did or said something that had nothing to do with how my day started, and boom. So it could end, good or really bad, for all involved, myself included.
What would you tell somebody that has not taken that first step yet, but maybe they're thinking about it? What would you tell them?
I would tell that person to examine themselves. And something as simple as make a list, the pros and the cons of your behavior, of what you got going on, good versus the bad, what you got going on. And if that behavior on that list, if the bad outweighs the good, then it's probably time to do something different. And challenge yourself one day at a time, There's 24 hours in a day. That's the only way you can do it, one day at a time. Sometimes you have to allow tomorrow to have its own time. Deal with tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. All you can do is deal with today. So today, focus on being sober today. Focus on today. Tomorrow, we'll worry about tomorrow. But try to stay sober today, one day.
Well, I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask a few more questions and let me think on that.
I know.
I know. This is a valuable conversation and I applaud you. And I hope that you applaud yourself because you have initiated a journey by yourself and you have maintained on that path. And that's a big deal. A lot of people start at day one several times.
Yeah. I all the time when I was going through therapy, listening to you, say what you said. First and foremost, thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Mhm.
But my therapist, um, Jacqueline, she would always tell me, I would always say, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And she would always stop me. She says, it's okay to thank God, but you got to thank yourself as well because you did the work. And me thanking God was my way of saying I'm humbling myself, but I wasn't giving myself the credit for, like she said, walking that walk. So I'm still learning
Okay.
to cheer for myself You know what I'm saying? And it feels good. Therefore, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Beat on my chest a little bit. I did that.
Yeah.
You know, again, thank you, Lord, but thank you, me too. You
Thank you,
know,
me too.
for
Absolutely.
real.
Because prayer without works is dead.
Faith as well. Faith without works is dead too.
Mhm.
So you right. Excuse me. Thank you, Lord, but thank you, me.
Yeah. Thank you, you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You're a cute little milk dud.
Dog, dog.
Ah, all right. Let's pause.